Hello everyone, it's Carla from Casey Creates, and I have a lace journal I was hoping to share with you. And so welcome to my channel. Thanks for visiting, and if you'd like to see what I'm up to, then I hope you'll stick around. I've made a lace and doily fabric journal, and I haven't made one of these in quite a while. And I just had the best time loading it with all kinds of laces and trims and dangles and pretties. And so this is the back, and I'm hoping I have it in frame enough for you to really see. I don't normally put dangles on the back, but that was just an example of having fun with the materials. And this is a little floral embellishment that I made. I stitched it onto some rayon seam binding in order to make my closure. So that's the back. The spine isn't really special. It's a netting, crocheted netting. It has applique, and that's what I covered the entire cover with. And this is the front, and I'm calling this one Fancy Free, and that's because the era in which most of the images come from is that Victorian era, when the ladies were all fancy in their big dresses just to go and lounge and look pretty in the garden and have tea and play croquet, or yes, crochet or embroider or whatever they did for leisure. I believe it was a time of great leisure, but it was also probably an era when they were just trying to woo their suitors, because their biggest goal in life was to marry well. So anyway, you'll see I have lots of layers of applique, and I had fun with the dangles this time. I haven't really worked with a lot of dangles on my journals lately, so I thought I would do that and cut out lots of the little individual floral pieces and layered them. And there's a pretty little rosebud, and as you can see, she's just enjoying herself in the garden, smelling the roses. I guess we should all take a little time to stop and smell the roses. So this is how it unties, and then there's a pretty little velvet button there that I used to wrap it around, and then there's just some pretty layered pieces on the edge. And now I'm gonna warn you, it is lavish. There's lots of color, and as it says, fancy free. Well, this first page isn't quite as fancy. So I decided to put a little notebook in. So this is a silk covered little notebook. Really sweet bow there that unties. And I just kept it nice and simple since the page is so decorative. And I ruched some lace and put one of my favorite trims again on the edge, and it's the same on the back. And then inside I stitched it to some tea-dyed paper, and then it's just pages of tea-dyed paper that you can journal on. A little paper doily, some graph paper. So I thought that's a nice little addition to add to it. And then it tucks down into this pocket, but I'll show you the page first. So I've got this beautiful scalloped trim here that has a few sequins and pearls, and then another seam binding bow with a pretty flower, and then that's that rosebud trim. And then this is a pocket, and then a really pretty lace I love to use, and then a piece of applique on top, and then the little silk covered notebook tucks down in here. just up to where the bow is. And then you can see another girl here just enjoying some time reading in the garden, and there's a pretty view with trees, and I think that might even be a picnic basket there. But I framed it in the rosebud trim and more of the pretty scallop trim, and then dangles. So that is another one of the fancy free pages. And then this page is really fancy. This beautiful trim was gifted to me from Julie Dury on that big huge tassel she gifted me. Thank you, Julie. I have just had so much fun with those trims, and this is one that I've seen that is just really fancy, and I never knew exactly how I would use it, but I just decided to go all in and put a whole strip of it across the bottom, because if you can see how fancy her hat is, and it's just cascading flowers and all different colors, and then the sleeve of her dress is so lacy and pretty, and I think she's even twirling a little strand of pearls. She has on satin gloves, so I mean she is truly fancy. So I kind of wanted to pick up on that, and I made these little satin ribbon rose clusters to kind of pick up on the roses here. And then I don't know if you can see the really pretty bow up here with the pearl. And this is a belly band with a lace flower that I made, and I love the band. It's got woven satin ribbon going through it. And I made another little notebook journal to tuck down in the belly band, and it's just got some eyelet lace trim, and then I put this pretty paper. It's a nice texture. They call it parchment paper. I think it's because it's kind of got that parchment look to it. But yeah, just some more little another spot for possible notes, thoughts, and journaling. And it tucks down in this pocket. So there's the second set of fancy free pages, and then it flips over, and I love this page. It sort of reminds me of maybe a spot in Italy. She has on a beautiful flowing fancy dress, and then these little mules or slide little sandals. I liked mixing the browns and sort of the rustic with the little twine bow there. And then I got more of that favorited crochet rosebud trim, and then my favorite little narrow trim framing the image. There's applique, and in this pocket I've just got some pretty rose print note cards. And this one says, "And the secret garden bloomed and bloomed, and every morning revealed new miracles." And then there's two of the note cards with journaling space inside. And I like how the little paper flower just kind of peeks out there on the side. So those tuck there. And then this page, another image where she's got a basket with beautiful flowers, like as if all she had to do today was go out and pick beautiful flowers. And then she's got that pretty little rustic looking corset. And again, I've got more of the rosebud trim and some applique and the little medallions of satin ribbon roses and some more applique. And then in here I made some little tags that are backed with tea-dyed paper so you can journal on them. And then I've got some shabby crinkled seam binding that I dyed. that pretty kind of soft pink color. They tuck in there, and then these are some little sweet little tags that are held together with a little rusted paper clip. I like this one. It's got a little balcony with the birds. So I just kind of trimmed one of them with a little bit of vintage lace, and these tuck down in here. And I also like how the ribbon roses are sort of a muted color. They're not the real bold shades of red and blue and yellow. So I felt like they really blended well with this. And then there's again the kind of ecru dangles and layers of dangle. So that's the third set of fancy free pages. And then the last two are here. And this one is, I've accented in blue to pick up on the beautiful blue sash on her dress. And doesn't she just look like she's daydreaming the day away under a tree in the meadow? I think she has a book, and just a nice example of how we should take time and just enjoy the life around us. And this has a doily that I layered. You could use it as a tag or to journal or even to set a cup of tea on. This is one of those Tim Holtz wallpaper pieces. And then I've got a few journaling spots where I tea dyed lined paper on the back. So there's 3 little journaling cards that tuck down in here. Well, let me show you this page. I love this pocket. It's got a really beautiful lace and then another applique on top with a couple of dangles there, and then a satin ribbon rose flower that I made and layered with a little cheesecloth and lace. And then this is a double layer of really pretty scalloped trim. And then I've used the green vine that we use a lot in our crafting to pick up on the beautiful image with the tree and the meadow. And another thing was that mesh bling, you know, that comes in strips. I never really know how to work that into my crafting, but I always seem to have some. But this time I just decided to cut them out into little individual gems and lay them on the individual roses as the center. And I think I made it work. So this page was designed slightly different than I normally would. There's some of this really pretty bluish green and yellow trim as well, and then I just laid some really thin flat back pearl strips over the top, and then the bottom has a really pretty sort of a dangle trim, if you can see. And then I cut out individual little rose pieces with the leaf dangling down and just, you know, laid them on top like that. So these are the last 2 pages. My little tags and paper doily tucked down in there, and there's actually lots of space to tuck other things in, photos, more note paper. Oh, I forgot to show you this one. I don't remember where this one was, but I have a little bookmark as well, seeing that a couple of the images they're reading books, so this one could be used for the book. But I have found myself, after I finished this one a few days ago, literally just sitting holding onto it and playing with the dangles, and that's why I get that saying of it's like a big girl's rag doll, because it just makes you want to sit down, and it's so textural that it's just enjoyable to sit and look through and have a quiet moment. So I'll just turn the pages for you again. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it, and I hope it inspires you to go have a fancy-free moment of your own. These are what I call the Tuscan pages with the note cards. And then the last 2 pages. So thanks for visiting with me, everyone. I'm gonna actually try to start a crafter's tag. So in the next day or so, I'm going to come back and introduce my idea for a tag that it would be wonderful if I could get participation and you to maybe get more from the crafting community to join in on the tag. I hope it'll be something you're interested in. I know it would be really helpful to me when you hear what the idea is, because it has to do with getting organized and understanding you know, what people use and what they find helpful in their crafting. So anyway, it'll make more sense when I share the videos, so stay tuned. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to visit with you again soon. Bye-bye.